You've been through good times and tough times here. Does it feel like it's starting to swing on the upswing here? And can you think of it that way amid the disappointment of not making the playoffs?
Yes and no, like you said. Not the spot we want to be in right now, right today. We want to be preparing for the playoffs. So obviously felt short of our goal, and it hurts after all the time you put in this year with that group and how we grew together and the adversity we went through. Stings not to be able to get a chance to play in the playoffs and go for our ultimate goal. So I think with that said, the hunger is at an all-time high for this group, and I think we're going to be taking that into the summer and into next season. And I mean, just everything, we kind of have a style of play now that we know we need to do on a consistent basis to get to where we want to get to. So, I think we did a good job of, sticking to that, but we got to continue to build on it moving forward, obviously. So, excited.
How much have you enjoyed having Shawn Monahan here on this team this year?
Yeah, it's been, fantastic. I mean, can't say enough good things about him as a person, as a teammate, and then on the ice, what he brings on the ice. But, knew a little bit of him before, not to the extent, obviously playing a year with him, but knew the kind of player he was. But, his play speaks for itself, and everything he does out there, he does it the right way, but off the ice as well, the type of teammate he is, the leader in the room that he is, just a very, great guy to have on your side and in your locker room. So very lucky to have him, and what he brought this year, I mean, it speaks for itself. He's so valuable to our team, and, we're happy, and he's a guy that, a lot of young guys can learn from too, and we're thrilled to have him, obviously.
This was your first season under Coach Evson. What has he brought to the organization, and what has his impact been both on and off the ice?
Yeah, I think right from, speaking to him the first time and, day one of training camp, I think it's about the team and that buy-in of everybody doing whatever they can for the team, and everybody's got a spot and a role and, a place, and I think that just, we kind of took off from there and what he brought that way. But I mean, the style of play, I think, like I said, kind of nailed down exactly how we want to play. Doesn't matter where, when, what the situation is, we show up and play our style. And obviously, I think he's a big reason for that. And obviously we're short, but lots to like of where we're going if we continue to build on that, and just that earn not given saying that he says as well, I think resonates in our group, and goes through the whole dressing room. So brought a lot of good messages that way, and just the buy-in from the team to his style and his coaching is it was awesome.
Just as the game was ticking down last night, hearing the fans and the Johnny Be Good and everything like that, just what was going through your mind emotionally as you knew that the season was coming to an end, but all the fans were there to celebrate you guys?
Yeah, it was emotional for sure, to say the least. And we play for Johnny all year, and we'll continue to. And he's a part of our dressing room and a teammate forever. And just it was special that way this year, playing for him. And we've mentioned it so much, but he's going to continue to be a part of our group. And even last night, Mayor with the kids was at the game, and Johnny would be so proud of that, and just the strength that he's given us, and Mayor and the family has given us. Seeing them around has been unbelievable and truly inspiring. So it's the fans. They've done a tremendous job all year, and not shocked last night again. We get to honor him that way, but all season they've been honoring with us, and just a special bond that way with our fans and us in that locker room. Being behind Johnny, and like I said, we'll continue to honor him, and he's a part of it, and we miss him every day on and off the ice.
But whenever a team undertakes a quote-unquote rebuild or whatever you want to call it, there can be some tough years in there waiting for certain things to bloom. How cool was it for you to see Fantilli explode this year, Kent Johnson deliver, Marchenko? I mean, we could go on and on with guys. Does it finally feel like there's becoming a talent burst here that can carry you for a while?
Big time. I mean, go up and down the lineup, I think. Young guys or older guys, stepping up everywhere and continuing to get better. So that's very exciting for our group, and the steps that, those names that you mentioned, along with other guys, and, not so young guys, older guys that, stepped up and taken the next step is so exciting for our group. And I think that pushes everybody in that room, and I think that's where our hunger's coming from, is we're starting to see the team that we can become, and that's why it hurts more this year, obviously, to be in this spot, and but it's also very exciting, and very proud of a lot of guys and the steps that they've taken, and us as a team. So I think we just got to continue with that, but it's very great to see, and I'm not surprised with a lot of the guys in that room, the character we have, the work ethic that guys put in. These guys are going to continue to get better and better, and that's what we want to bring in that room and internally in that dressing room to push us to be a better team at the end of the day.
Time for two more, Brian.
I guess along those lines as well, if you look back over the season, a lot of guys were added to the mix. And if you look at them all individually, it doesn't feel like any of them were kind of misfits or anything. They all kind of fit in perfectly, from JVR to Fabro, like just go on and on. How nice was that to have that kind of bolster your group? And then, as we look forward to an off season, there's probably going to be some changes. Does it give you confidence in the management group, knowing that they're looking for stuff, looking for guys that are going to fit in?
Absolutely, and I think it goes back to our room. It's a special group in there, and these guys come in and fit in right away, and find a role in the team, and help us. And I think when you add those pieces in, and character guys like you're talking about with JVR and Fabs, and a lot of other guys I'm missing, but it gives your room extra juice and extra life, and I think no matter what happens with every off season, there's going to be changes, but that's not going to change in our room. Of everything we do is for the team first, and everybody is bought into that, and when you have that, it's pretty special. And I think we're not at the spot right now, but being here today, but moving forward, that's where that hunger comes from, is knowing what we have in there, and wanting to take it to the next level as a group, and get to where we want to get to.
Boone, I wanted to ask you, to being the competitor that you are, all those games you had to sit out because you were injured, I know it was tough on you, and you were seeing how great this team was. I mean, was it tough on you? We're really good.
Yeah, definitely. Personally, that was a challenging year that way. Just never kind of been in that spot where the season starts and you're not going to be playing for months, and knowing that, and it's hard. I mean, you're used to, being in the room, being on the ice, battling with guys, in practice and games, being on the road trips, and, that kind of gets taken away from you, and you kind of learn have to sit back and learn a different way of, being around, and still trying to be a leader. And, at that time, it was just, my focus was to come back and be with this group. Me and Goody, we're kind of in the same boat there, where we try to be around as much as we could, and we were just so happy to come back in. No matter how many games it was left in the season, we wanted to get back and be with this group, and Obviously the spot we were in, we wanted to come back and try to push us into the playoffs. And I'm not gonna lie, yeah, it's challenging going through injuries like that are that long, but it's part of the game. And I mean, what can you do? You gotta get yourself healthy so you can, get back in that room and help the guys. So, but yeah, I definitely learned a lot, and kind of had to take a step back and focus on what I needed to do there. And feeling good now and happy for that, and happy and proud that we me and Goody and other guys, Shawn, Monahan, and guys that had tough injuries could come back and persevere that way. So yeah.
At the beginning of the year, going right back to game one, I remember we were talking with you about taking a bunch of shots, and you were talking about how you wanted to kind of increase that this year. I think you did end up setting by quite a bit a career high in the number of shots you took. Can you go back over that again? Just like kind of your thought process coming into the year. Is that what you wanted to do? Is kind of get more shots off?
Yeah, maybe a little bit. I think obviously the game's circumstantial. You can't force shots and force plays, but I feel like a lot of times, especially if you get ozone possession, teams can just kind of be on the outside, and at some point you have to deliver the puck to the net, and that's where goals are scored. So I feel like it was definitely a focus for me whenever a good chance kind of presented itself, or if I had nothing, just kind of throw something near the blue. And that's kind of my mindset in certain games. And we have guys on our team that are really good around that area. So I just kind of had to focus on that going into the season.
Zach, you played more this year than you ever have. You had the Four Nations while everybody else sort of got a break. Obviously, this has been an emotional season for everybody. How fried are you now? Do you realize how tired you are now that the season's over, mentally, physically, all of it?
I'm not tired. I wish I was playing. Yeah, I wish I was playing in the playoffs. I put a lot of work in this past summer to be ready for this, and obviously wanted to take steps forward this year with my game, conditioning, and all that stuff to show in the playoffs what I can do and what this team can do. And we're not there, so it's definitely a little bit unfortunate. I feel like I'm in great shape to keep going here, and obviously it's been a lot of hockey, and there's certain days I am tired, but I'm more motivated than ever to play in the playoffs, and I was really hoping we get the chance to this year, and it just didn't work out. So I'm gonna have that same mindset this summer, and hopefully next year at this time we're getting ready for the playoffs.
I think it's fair to say that your contract extension was something of a statement about where you were, where this franchise was heading, you were hoping, and in this city. Heading into this season, what was your mindset about this franchise and where it was heading, and where is it now?
I've always believed in this franchise and this organization. It's a place I love playing. It's a place I love being. This is where I call home now, and I always felt like we had everything at our disposal to be a great hockey club, and I feel like we're starting to really take steps in that direction. Definitely believe in it, and believe in the process, believe in the young guys, believe in the core we have here, and like I said, it's disappointing we're not playing in the playoffs, but at the end of the day, I do believe in what we're doing here, and I'm just excited to be a part of it.
Zach, you remember you telling me that you wanted to see some measure of success this year from the beginning of the season. You just mentioned the disappointment of not making the playoffs. Do you feel like that this is a successful season, all things considered?
We're definitely a better hockey club this year. Definitely more competitive, definitely in, pretty much every game for the most part. I feel like the way we work and the way we play, we've beaten a lot of good teams that are going to be playing in the playoffs right now, but I feel like it's hard as a competitor to say it was successful when you miss the playoffs. At the end of the day, that's your goal, and you want to be competing for the Stanley Cup, and we're not doing that. Although we're just short, it's still short of it. So definitely feel like, in a sense, we made huge progress this year and took steps in the right direction, but I don't know if I'd use the word successful. I feel like still a process, and still a long ways to go to get to where we ultimately want to be, and just going to continue to work at that, and hopefully, those are successful years and coming up here. So see what happens.
Zach, you mentioned you feel like you can keep playing, which comes to the question, the World Championships. Your thoughts on that? Will you be playing? Do you want to play?
I will not be playing. No, I want to play. It's one of those things where it's a tough decision for me. It's kind of, I thought long and hard about it if we weren't to make the playoffs, if I'd go or not. I have a really busy summer, getting married this summer. Two of my best friends are getting married. One of them's over in Europe, so I'll be there for a few weeks for that. And I feel like for me and this organization, I think it's best that I, get in the gym here, probably next week or the week after, and start working for next season. And hopefully I put that work in, and we're in a different spot this time next year. So I feel like it's just best for me to take some time and stay off the ice and get back in the gym and focus on what I can do to help this team next season. So definitely a tough decision. I love playing for USA Hockey, but it's just not going to work out this summer.
You spent a lot of time this season playing with Dante Fabro, who wasn't even on the roster on opening night. Can you just talk a little bit about the chemistry that the two of you developed as the season went on and what he's meant for the team as well?
Yeah, he's been awesome. It's funny, I always joke with him his first game in Seattle, play a lot of minutes, and I know he wasn't playing for a while. He looked at me like the second or third shift, and he's like, "Man, my legs hurt." And I'm like, I looked over, I'm like, he's not going to make it. So I'm always joking with him about that, because obviously look how far we've come, and obviously he's such a great player, and I love playing with him, and hopefully he's here for a long time. I told him that last night. Hopefully we can build this thing and continue to play together for a while, and obviously he's got some contract stuff going on, so I hope it all works out, but at the end of the day, he has to do what's best for him. But yeah, no, I love playing with him. I think he's a fantastic player. I think he's added a whole new element to our group. It's just steady presence on the blue line, the type of guy he is in the room. I could speak for a long time on him and what he's meant to this team this year, so definitely hope it works out for him here.
Got time for one or two more, Mark?
I know it's still fresh, but have you had time to reflect on what do you feel like the group as a whole needs to do on the blue line to help with the goals against, prevent them?
I haven't really thought about it. I mean, at the end of the day, there's five guys out there that are playing team defense. I definitely think we can clean some stuff up on our end. Some key breakdowns. I'd have to really think about it. It's a little too fresh for me. I mean, I think maybe next year, come training camp after a full summer, I'll have an answer for you on that. Things we can maybe clean up before the season starts. But there's definitely stuff we can do to clean up some of those grade A chances in front of our goalies for sure.
Last one.
Two areas I think that, if you show improvement next year, could probably put you in where you want to go, would be improving road wins. I believe it was 14 or 16 wins or 14 wins. And also back-to-backs, like in the second half back-to-backs. How can you guys get better in those? Have you thought about that at all? Is it just kind of coincidence that those numbers are that way, do you feel? Or are there set things that you guys can do to improve those numbers?
Yeah, well, I think back-to-backs, that can start in the summer. I think just with training, making sure your engine's big enough for those second nights. It's something that, at the end of the day, we are a pretty young group, and you have to learn how to win those games. You have to learn how to win when you're not feeling the best, when you don't have your A game, especially on the road. It's similar. You have to learn to win in tough buildings when teams are fresh, waiting for you, whatever it may be. I think that just comes with a little bit of time and maybe learning how to simplify your games in certain situations. But yeah, I mean, those are things that we talk through as a group, and I think the back-to-back ones, it's a challenge to everyone this summer to maybe work a little bit harder and, like I said, have that engine for those second nights where you're not as tired. You recover quickly after the first game and you're ready for the second game. And yeah, I mean, I feel like being on the road, it's just, a learning experience for a lot of guys and for our group. And I feel like we started the year really bad on the road, got better as the year went along. I think that was just from simplifying our game and not trying to do too much and trying to win games 2-1 or 3-2 rather than win them 6-4, 6-5 like sometimes we do at home. But those are all things we can fix, and those are in our control. And I think that's the good thing about it is that's something we can work on as a group and get better at. So hopefully we have better results in those games next year.
Eric, what's the worst prank Shawn Monahan has ever played on you?
He's got this mouse he's putting around that he's hiding in different spots right now, like a fake mouse. Pops up a lot of places. Yeah.
To get you?
Not yet. Not yet. No, he's all over Boone with that one. Yeah.
Third season here, the first two did not go great on the ice. How different was this year for you, despite the injury, just being a part of this and seeing where this team is headed, and how fulfilled and optimistic are you that it's heading in the right direction?
Yeah. Fulfilled, no. We didn't get to where we wanted to be. But optimistic, yeah, for sure. We took some major strides this year. I think the group just felt different. You know what I mean? We were pushed and pushed ourselves to be better on a daily basis, and we got some results from that. Not, as I said, what we wanted, but I think there's a standard here now that we talked about in prior years that we didn't quite accomplish, and now that's here, and that's a very positive thing.
Can you believe you've been here almost 4 years now already?
It's crazy how fast it goes. I know. Yeah. No, I can't believe it, to be honest with you.
Your impressions of living in Columbus, playing for the Blue Jackets, what are they now as, obviously compared to when you first came in here?
Yeah. I got a pretty good read on it from like the first 2 weeks that I was here. I was like, wow, this place is awesome. I really like it here. And that's only grown. It feels like home. I love playing here. Love being a part of this organization. Love the people of Columbus, people of Ohio. It's a great place to play, and I feel very fortunate to be here.
Erik, what was going through your mind last night as the clock was ticking down? You got the crowd just all into it. You guys were winning that game, but then they're playing Johnny Be Good in the background, stuff like that. Just what was going through your mind emotionally?
Yeah. Number one, good amount of disappointment that we're not gearing up to play tomorrow. There's kind of a loss with that for sure. But then that's followed quickly by, taking in what's going on in the rink and how much these fans, really do love our team and just how great they are. So, those moments that kind of took over towards the end, and that little lap we did, like we're very, very appreciative of our fan base and what they bring for us on a nightly basis here at Nationwide. So yeah, there's a whole bunch of emotions, but number one, we want to play. We wanted to get in, and we didn't meet that goal. So that stings. But fifth line came and gave it their all for us, and we very much appreciate that.
This last week or so, you played in front of the NHL's first star of the week in Jet Greaves, and it seemed like there was nothing that could get past him. Not that would change anything that you're doing on the ice, but what's it like to play in front of a goalie where you just know that he's going to make that save? And then what has Jet meant in the last 7 or so days for the team?
Yeah, for sure. He made a very potent influence in a small amount of time. Jet's a tremendous goalie. He's just a very easygoing guy. You know what I mean? Like those guys, I always find the best ones just have this calmness about them. You see how he walks around, how he handles himself on a daily basis, and he's just got that calmness. Like I got it, you're good. It's one of those things. It's literally as simple as that, and he's got whatever gene that is in him, and he makes tough saves look really simple. And then the odd time he can break a puck out for you at the blue line, which is amazing. So he did a great job. And obviously been around him for the last 3 years, and the kid just works hard, comes to the rink, puts in the work, doesn't say much, and he's reaping the benefits of it now. He's a very good person.
Figure I'll try this question at the end of the season. When we go down the locker room and we wait, we hear the music, we hear ABBA every time you guys won. Can you confirm who came up with the idea?
No, I can't. I was in Vail, I think, when they came up with that. probably sitting on a couch somewhere in a sling. So no, I just showed up when that was already going on.
Erik, how do you think you're going to process this season when you're away from the team now? I mean, when the tragedy happened, the team came together. You're with them, well, most of the team, 24/7 for 8 months. And now guys going their separate ways. You're going to be alone to have your thoughts. What's it going to be like?
That's a good question. I don't want to sound too dramatic here, but I think it's going to be hard. Like we had such high expectations for ourselves at the start of the year amidst like what happened, and we really believed that we were capable of doing it, and falling short of that sucks. It just does. So yeah, it's going to be tough, but it's also going to provide guidance and a fire that wasn't here in prior years. Going into this off season and taking care of business and coming back, and like now we know we're capable of it. You know what I mean? Of being there. Now we got to get over the edge. You know what I mean? We got to clean up those games that we should have won in the past, and those games that matter in October and November and December, and the season series with certain teams. Like now your focus is heightened, and I think amidst that disappointment, there's going to be a lot of guidance and a lot of take some fuel from that.
I guess when we look back over the season, there's so many memories. And I'm sure you would have rather played in the outdoor game than walked down the tunnel. But you did get a chance to walk down the tunnel right up front with Monty and the Gaudreaus, and leading the team out. How special was that moment? Just bringing the team down the tunnel and into 95,000 people, and for that game.
Yeah, it was. It wasn't supposed to happen, actually. Yeah, no. I think the Amazon guys wanted just Monty to do it, but Meredith grabbed me on the way out, and she's like, "You're coming." So that, to be honest with you, that it meant the world to me, actually, to walk out for that. And it was, it was hard. It was hard to miss that game. There was a lot going on, a lot of emotions, a lot of stuff and whatnot, and to be a part of it that way was pretty amazing. I won't forget that for sure.
Shawn, what was last night like for you? There's all of the stuff that everyone was going through with the season, but were you also thinking maybe this is your last game here?
Well, I think last night, just to big picture it, I think was the night where I was just trying to go out there and enjoy it and soak it all in, and maybe take a few more looks than you normally do. But I think this you never really know what's next. So how do you stay in the moment, but realize that there's some reality to some of these things, and I think it was a fun night for me to try to enjoy it with my teammates and the fans, and I think for the most part, I think we really did that.
This is your fourth year. How good was it for you to have this kind of year here after the previous three were obviously pretty difficult, to be in the run, to be in the mix? It was such an inspiring group as well.
Totally. It's, like anything, you'd like the progress to be linear and increasingly better each year. And I think I've learned through not just my NHL career, but, my hockey career and life, that's not how it goes. And sometimes you don't know, where the beginning or the end or where you are at in the timeline. So, I think this year was a great single season for us, but also a culmination of efforts for a lot of years that we put together, and the pieces kind of came together for us this year, better than they had in the previous year. But I think we built a lot of good things over the past few years. In the locker room, maybe they didn't turn into results like we would have liked. But for them to turn into results this year, I think was really encouraging. And you can kind of, feel good about some of that and how far we had come. And obviously you want to take the next step. I'd love to be talking about playing the Capitals right now, but you know what, you take steps and you try and keep moving forward, and you show up and you do the best you can. And I think we had a group that did that this year.
Shawn, when did you know that this team was going to be something different this year? Monty was just in here and said after the second game at Colorado, I thought it could be a really good team. When was it for you?
You know, that's a good question. I think I was familiar with the players that were returning, and I had a lot of confidence in who we had returning. I knew our young guys have a ton of talent, a ton of skill. I think where I was impressed was the new additions, you know, the Monties and the, you know, the Fabros, the deadline, and the Reesers early in the year. And those were the pieces that I hadn't accounted for. And those pieces, you know, helped us be a lot better than we had in the past season. So you've got a returning group that performed, you know, substantially better than we had, and then new additions that also contributed substantially. So, you know, it's tough to say a time where I thought we were going to be better this year, but I think we knew what we had in that locker room. And then when you start to see some of the new guys really helping and doing it really right away, you get some more confidence. Then it just snowballs.
Before you got here, you were one of those guys that always came back home and skated, obviously. How much have you enjoyed living in your hometown, playing for the team that you grew up these past 4 years?
Wow, it's you know, not a lot of people get the chance to do what I did the past 4 years, and what an incredible experience playing in front of so many family and friends and this whole city. Man, they really rally behind this team, and it's been super special. You don't get to, you know, opportunities like this very often, and super thankful for the opportunity I've been given, and you know, the last 4 years and how special it's been. Just tried to soak it up as much as possible, and I think in hindsight you'll be able to look back and really, you know, be proud of and enjoy the memories.
I want to build off his question a little bit, just from your perspective as a leader. Just how impressed have you been with not just the leadership core, but other guys, younger guys that are all stepping into bigger roles as a leader themselves?
Yeah, that's, you know, when you come in and you try and lead or show people what you've learned, I think the goal is to eventually that they, you know, they lead in their own way. And I think that's exactly, you know, what you've seen with some of the young guys. They've taken major steps. Amazing hockey players, you know, in their own right, first of all, and super talented. So it's it's been fun to see. I think as an older guy, you feel a sense of, you know, pride, and you're proud of how these guys have grown up so far in this thing. We've still got ways to go, and continue to get better, and I know they'll do that because they're good kids and good players.
One more try. When you talk to your buddies this summer, probably hockey buddies, and they ask you about this season in Columbus, what are you going to tell them?
Yeah, well, you know, I think it's, you know, a team that obviously handled a bunch of adversity, and I think what happened was when we got on the ice, it was our time to really live and enjoy and play, and that's, I think, what you saw this year is we had some stuff going on off the ice, but when we stepped on that ice, it was about you know, being there. And I think, you know, as we all stepped on the ice, it was a group that was present. And when you get on the ice and you have fun and you enjoy it and you play, I think good things happen. I think that's what you saw this year, is a group that tried to really enjoy the time we were on the ice together.